The Swords of Justice may not be the best legendary trio, or I guess they're quartets now? I don't know, but they're still pretty cool. We're rating them all, and well, of course, as a legendary, Cobalion is very good in battle. But admittedly, it's not amazing or anything. 129 defense is awesome though, and everything other than special defense is great. Steel Fighting is also a fantastic type combination, but its ability Justified is basically useless here, especially in Gen 5 where it quad resisted Dark. And its moves like Iron Head, Sacred Sword, Sword Stance, along with TMs for more coverage and even supports, okay, maybe it isn't broken or anything, but it's still pretty clearly 5 stars in battle prowess. And remember, for availability, legends are compared to legends. So in that case, Cobalion being available before the 7th gym in Unova and the sequels is great, so it'll get 4.5 stars. But as the nickname Swords of Justice suggests, Cobalion and the rest of its trio are based on the Three Musketeers, Cobalion being inspired by Athos, the leader of the group made more clear by its dex entries. Otherwise, it seems to be sort of a stag, goat, or maybe the kudu. Very cool concept for sure, 4 stars. But admittedly, it has always been my least favorite of the trio by far. It just looks kind of dumb if we're being honest. I like the color scheme a lot, and in general, I really like the deer style Pokemon, but the proportions of this one just look so out of balance. Its feet are comically large, and its body is comically short, topped off by the ungulate long neck. Not to mention the giant white chest puff and tiny little mustache, which I'm sure are tied to the novel inspiration, but that doesn't make it look any less stupid. Yes, it's still a noble-ish looking legendary Pokemon, but I genuinely don't see the draw for it at all. I haven't seen the polls yet, but I'm sure they disagree, 2.5 stars. But hey, Cobalion still gets a really solid 4 stars overall. Terrakion stands very clearly on top of its legendary trio quartet thing. Boarding them all, and I mostly mean in battle, where its 129 attack, 108 speed, and 109 defensive stats are fantastic, and definitely the best spread out of the 3. Granted, Rock Fighting isn't the best typing for sure, but it's cool stylistically and fun offensively. Again, Justified is pretty pointless here, but its move pool is incredible with Rock Slide, Sacred Sword, and Sword Stance by level up, along with moves like Earthquake, Rock Polish, and some coverage with TMs. This is the easiest 5 stars of the trio for sure. But sadly, its availability is the worst of them. It is compared to other legends, so not being able to find it until after all 8 badges in Unova and its sequels isn't as bad as usual, but still keeps it at 3 stars. And conceptually, it is of course based on one of the 3 musketeers, this time Porthos, the heaviest and largest member, which ties in nicely with it being an ox or bull style hooved animal. Again, a solid 4 stars. And I do think it's fair to argue this has the best design in the group as well, though I am partial to Virizion. Even if you don't like it, you can't deny that this thing absolutely screams powerful brute. The sharp, almost axe-like horns that come together into an almost Three Musketeers style hat on its head. The only knock that I have on it is that it doesn't really portray rock type like at all. Maybe that's what the polls are seeing too, as they are surprisingly low so far, but yeah, I think 4 stars is fair here. Which funnily enough actually gives it an even 4 stars overall, just like Cobalion. Virizion has always been my favorite of the Swords of Justice, so let's see if it'll do better or worse than the others. We're rating them all, and in battle, it is sadly probably the worst of the 3, mostly due to its pretty bad grass fighting type combo that has 6 weaknesses, including a very common quad weakness. But outside of that, it's still pretty awesome. 129 special defense, 108 speed, and 90s in its attack stats is very good, and its move pool is arguably the best out of the 3. Giga Drain for recovery while still hitting very hard with Sacred Sword, Sword Stance, and Leaf Blade later. Along with some good TM coverage, of course. This is borderline 5 stars in battle prowess, but I think that its move pool pushes it over the edge. 5 stars. Availability though will be the same as Cobalion, since you can get Virizion immediately after finding it. 4.5 stars. And it is of course based on the 3 Musketeers, Virizion being Aramis, I think is how you say it, who was the most feminine and romantic. While physically it mostly resembles an antelope or a stag, or the tall neck from Horizon. Nothing too crazy, but it fits perfectly. 4 stars just like the others. However, I do think that Virizion has by far the best design out of the group. Its head and horns being formed like a Musketeer's tricorn hat is a really nice detail, but otherwise it's just an overall really pretty and majestic design. The slight red hues on the light green look great, the flowy foliage gives it a look of almost elegance, which fits with its general upturned, confident look on its face. Fantastic shiny too, by the way. Amazing design that did pull the highest out of the 3, but still surprisingly low, but I think this is an easy 5-star design, which actually gives Virizion 4.625 stars overall, a much higher score than its counterparts and in the Legends top 5.